Welcome to the Reddit Chronicles. Today we will be reading from Am I the A posted by Silver Phoenix. Am I the A for not letting an autistic boy eat from my plate? My F30 friend Anna, F37, has a son, Jim, M11, who has Asperger's syndrome level 1. I moved a couple of months ago and haven't seen them face to face since. Last week, I was visiting town and our friends group arranged to meet at a restaurant. Anna said she'd bring Jim. Everyone was cool with it. I asked if he'd be comfortable, and she said they, friends and Jim, often met together, it'd be fine. We were 6 people plus Jim. Everything was great until first courses arrived and Jim started walking around the table, using his hands to help himself from other people's plates. I was shocked and asked another friend, Tom, if this was usual. He said yes, just as Jim reached into my salad. In a reflex, I placed my hand between his and my plate and went, "Jim, please don't, it's mine." He seemed confused, and I told him it's very rude to grab other people's food. Anna said it was okay, he always does that and nobody minds. I said I did as Jim went over to the next person. Everyone got quiet until Tom redirected the conversation. When they served the next course, Jim went at it again. This time he was more forceful, so I pushed his hand away and said that if he wanted to share, he'd have to sit down and wait until I put the food on his plate. Anna yelled that I was horrible. It wouldn't kill me to let Jim eat my food, he can't help it, and I of all people should be sympathetic. I'm multiply neurodivergent, although not autistic. I retorted I ought to decide if I share my food or not, with whom and how. The argument got more heated until I bit back that Asperger's syndrome isn't an excuse, and Jim needs to learn some boundaries. Granted, not his fault he has Asperger's, but that doesn't mean zero accountability, and she's not doing him any favors by not enforcing boundaries. Tom and another friend sided with me, whereas the others said I was the A. The dinner ended on a rather bad note, and when we left, Jim asked if I was mad. I told him I wasn't upset at him, but he needs to respect other people when they say no. Anna got even angrier and told me to stop policing her son before storming off. It's been 3 days, and the only people who think I'm not the A are Tom, the other friend, and Anna's husband. I'm starting to wonder if I was wrong. Next up, posted by Humble Intention. Am I the A for backing out of paying for my sister's wedding dress over a joke she made? I had an incident on my wedding day back in 2017 where my former fiancé abandoned me and ran away with his pregnant mistress. That image, those details are forever engraved on my mind, and I'll never forget how I felt that day. This was truly a turning point in my life. My family have always been there for me, so I kept close to them. My younger sister is currently engaged, and her wedding will be in a few months. She's struggling with money, so I decided to help her and her fiancé and pay for the wedding dress. This allowed her to be able to buy her dream wedding gown that cost $7,000. It's a lot for a dress, but she literally cried because she wanted it. This happened a few days before we agreed to go buy the dress. We were eating dinner at my parents' home, and my cousin and aunt were there. My aunt was asking my sister about the wedding, and my sister said that everything was going according to plan, and then casually laughed and said, "Let's just hope he won't run away with a pregnant mistress or something in our wedding day." I was blown away completely. She laughed and my aunt laughed too, as if this was a joke. She was basically mocking what happened with me and my wedding. It happened so fast I got up and started screaming at her, calling her an idiot, but my parents asked me to take it easy, and she said it was a joke, and she didn't think I'd react so intensely. My aunt remained seated, and my cousin asked me to calm down and drink some water, but I grabbed my stuff, and as I was getting ready, I told my sister she was getting $0 for her dream wedding dress, then I walked out. I heard louder commotion as I walked, and my dad and cousin followed me outside trying to talk, but I asked to be left alone. My dad spoke to saying I was too harsh on my sister over a joke, and said that I know this is how she is with her dark sense of humor. They said she's been crying after I decided to back out of helping her, and said this'd ruin her wedding. They want me to reconsider my decision since it might damage my relationship with my sister, but I refused. Did I overreact? Info. It's my aunt that would usually bring up what happened from time to time and say stuff like, "If what happened didn't happen, you would have had at least 2 kids now," or, "Do you know what day it is? Your wedding anniversary." It's harsh, but she stopped doing it anymore. Maybe my sister is being influenced by her, but still, it hurt the same, and more coming from my own sister. Next up, posted by Brother Conflict. Would I be the A if I skipped my sister's wedding? I, 23M, am one of 7 kids. There's Lydia, 31F, Josh, 28M, Leo, 25M, me, then Aaron, 21F, Nadia, 18F, and the surprise child Lexi, 4F. With that many siblings, it's easy to get lost in the crowd. Some of us have our positions, so to speak. Lydia's the oldest, Lexi's the baby, I have a kid. Erin is the golden child. She was the last planned child, the one supposed to tie up our family. She was born premature, so I understand that my parents coddled her to an extent, but it's more than that now. Erin's getting married, and recently told us that she's brought the date forward due to a cancellation. No big deal, it just means they're getting married sooner. But the new date lands on the date of Nadia's high school graduation. Erin was sympathetic, but said she's already committed to the date. They've printed the invitations. My parents normally go overboard on our high school graduation, but they said that they'd just have to miss Nadia's. We were all sympathetic, but it wasn't intentional. Or so I thought, but Nadia later told me and Leo that she was there when Erin got the call about the cancellation, and told Erin that she was graduating that day. But Erin just laughed and accepted the date anyway. This, as much as I hate to admit it, sounds like a very Erin thing to do. She booked her engagement part for the night of Nadia's 18th birthday. Luckily, she wasn't celebrating until the weekend. She announced her engagement at my oldest sister's wedding anniversary. Everything is about her. I confronted Erin about this, and she said that Nadia's high school graduation didn't matter. She wanted to get married to the love of her life sooner, and our family had been to plenty of high school graduations at this point anyway. She said something like, "We still have Lexi." But here's what gets me the most. Nadia's been looking forward to this for so long. She's watched all of us graduate and have these huge celebrations thrown by our parents. I asked Nadia what she wanted, and she said she wanted to have her day. So I told my family that me and Nadia won't be attending the wedding. Leo has also dropped out. Everyone's angry. Erin's furious, and I didn't make it better by telling her that I could watch our other siblings get married, since it's all the same in her eyes. Mom's trying to convince me to come to the wedding because graduation isn't as important, but I feel like if I don't do this, then it sets a precedent in Nadia's life that she's always going to mean less than Erin. I've had messages calling me an idiot, etc. They're telling me to step up and be a good brother, but that's what I'm doing. My son is supposed to be ring bearer, but with how my family is reacting, I'm considering pulling him out of the wedding too. My dad's told Nadia he'll take her to dinner after the wedding. Nadia is currently staying with me because Mom won't stop cornering her. Am I the A? Next up, posted by Am I the A husband and niece. Am I the A for not wanting my husband's niece to move in with us? My husband and I don't have any biological kids. 4 years ago we fostered Amelia, 19, and she's still living with us after aging out. We're also fostering 3 kids, 2F, 3F, 8M. Needless to say, we have a pretty full house. My husband and Amelia have always had a difficult relationship. They're both pretty stubborn and butt heads a lot. We considered telling her social worker that it wasn't working out so many times, especially in the first year, because of how often they argued, how stressed the arguments made her, and because he has more of an authoritarian parenting style that she didn't respond well to. She and I have always been very close though, and she considers me to be her mom. The problem is, since we've started fostering the younger 3, she's had to watch how good of a dad he is with the little ones, and gets upset that he wasn't the same with her. It wasn't always rational, but there was a lot of resentment and jealousy that she's having to work on. Now my husband has a niece, 18F, who will be on her own this fall. She got a full scholarship to both the school 10 minutes from us and a school an hour away. My husband wants her to move in, he'll get her a car, and have her go to the school 10 minutes away with us financially supporting her. I don't want to do that. First, we already told Amelia that we will not be covering 100% of her expenses. She has a job and pays 1/2 of her car payment and insurance, all of her gas, maintenance, and repairs, pays her portion of the phone bill, and is responsible for all of her spending money. Us paying for all of that with his niece would hurt Amelia, and he'd either have to admit to having a favorite or we'd have to fully support both. I said if she goes to the school an hour away, in an area with much cheaper rent, I wouldn't mind sending her some money every month to help out with rent and groceries with the expectation that she has a job and pays for some of her own expenses. He says we shouldn't expect her to be on her own yet and thinks that only partially supporting her is still too harsh. I told him that we can't do anything for his niece that we're not doing for Amelia, but he thinks it's unfair to compare the two and says that Amelia should be grateful for what we provide for her no matter what others get. I don't like how he's going about it, and he thinks I'm spoiling Amelia and abandoning his niece to spare Amelia's feelings, so I wanted to see if I was in the wrong. Down below in the comments, Holly Wears Beaky says it best. Not the A, you guys signed up to foster, and you guys made the decision to keep a foster child after they aged out. She deserves to be treated as if she was your own. Where are the niece's parents? Why aren't they supporting their child? I think your husband is so wrong here, and it will cause huge issues within the family if he doesn't see where he is going wrong. Thank you for listening to the Reddit Chronicles. Follow for more content.